Oh, what's up, everybody? It's me, that one weeb here, back with another episode of a What If Naruto video. For this What If you haven't read the title, is What If Naruto Was the Avatar, Part 6. So, awesome. Yeah, this is my first Part 6 ever for a video, I'm pretty sure. And, it's gonna be great, so here we go. Last time, Naruto and everyone made it through the first and second phases of the Chunin exams and know who they're fighting against at this point. Naruto will be fighting Gaara and Sasuke will be fighting Neji. Those are two important fights currently. And they begin their 1 month training. Naruto is officially dropped off on Ibisu before he ditches him and then begins trying to get with Jiraiya. Jiraiya eventually accepts him and then says that it's cool if he tags along. Jiraiya begins to train him on using his Kyuubi side when he realizes that Naruto has this special ability that he's never seen before for any Jinchuriki to have. This impressed Jiraiya immensely when Naruto shows his power to him firsthand. He tries to get Naruto to use the Kyuubi chakra by throwing him into that ravine and summoning Gamabunta like he did in the original. However, when he's thrown into the pit, instead of using the Kyuubi's chakra, he goes into the avatar state and then pulls rock out of the bottom of the cavern and fills up the cavern to rock to the top. When Jiraiya sees him moving his arms in a wave-like pattern, and he rises up, he then sees Naruto's blue eyes and the blue images, his seal turning blue on his stomach that can glow through his shirt. Jiraiya is shocked, openly gasps as he sees Naruto's ability. Naruto falls to the avatar state and then falls to one knee. He starts breathing heavily and then explains to Jiraiya Sensei what that was. He tells Jiraiya about all of the avatars and his ability, and what his mission to defend all of the great nations of wind, fire, the water, and earth nations. When he explains this, Jiraiya is confused and then tells him that there's other nations too, like the Cloud Nation and the Land of Waves. Naruto is thinking how to explain to him he's talking about a different world, but then decides to forget it. He explains to Jiraiya how his abilities work and how he can command the 4 elements, supposedly, of earth, water, wind, and fire with most ease without using chakra. Jiraiya, impressed with his ability, tells Naruto that if an ability like that really did exist, then he must be extremely valuable, and Jiraiya internally thinks he can't let Orochimaru take him for his experiments. Naruto then begins showing Jiraiya his earth abilities. Jiraiya is impressed and then asks him to show him a fire or wind ability. Naruto can't really do that yet. Jiraiya says that they're going to switch his training a little bit. As the Kyuubi's chakra, he thinks can wait for a little bit. We should probably work on this power that you have more of a control over for the Chunin exams, and we can work on your Kyuubi power, your other powers and abilities later on. Naruto agrees and then begins working on his avatar training. Jiraiya actually interprets a form of Sage Mode training with his ability, as he analyzes Naruto and then realizes that he's using purely nature energy, and a lot of it. Naruto innately has more nature energy than any normal person should have, like hundreds of people's amount of nature energy. It's as if if he had a condensed version of hundreds of people's energy. Instead of having ninjutsu energy or taijutsu physical energy, they just have nature energy. And all of this massive amount of nature energy doesn't take any toll on Naruto. In fact, the elements seem to bend for his will. When Jiraiya discovers this, they begin focusing his training. Naruto does meditation and is trying to work on a type of Sage Mode. Jiraiya thinks that if Naruto could unlock Sage Mode, then Naruto's abilities to control the elements might increase way farther. It's going to be able to sense the actual nature energy that he's bending, and this way it'll make it far easier for him to use his bending powers. Naruto and Jiraiya actually coined the word bending for this ability, as Naruto innately uses these wavy sort of taijutsu, like Tai Chi forms of combat when he's moving them, instead of forming hand seals, which it looks like he's bending his arms and waving. So they call him it bending. Naruto meditates for quite a few weeks when he almost has a grasp on Sage Mode. He thinks that Jiraiya tells Naruto that he has a natural affinity for the sage arts, and that if Naruto had enough time, they'd go to Mount Miyaboku and actually get him into a perfect sage. Jiraiya says he'll tell him more about it later on. Naruto, being frustrated, complains that he never tells him anything cool. He then tells Naruto for the next 2 weeks to train on meditation to try and tap into his powers at will. Naruto meditates for 2 weeks straight, and in the second week, the day before the Chunin exam part 2, Naruto finally has a breakthrough. He falls into the spirit realm. When he wakes up in his spirit form, he looks around and begins talking to Avatar Aang. Avatar Aang waves him and tells Naruto that he knows all about what's going on through his eyes. He tells Naruto that he's going to help him learn how to use the wind bending technique and how to use it to help him win this Chunin exam thing to make him a real ninja. Naruto and Aang begin training for that day, and Naruto's exhausted by the time he gets out of the spirit realm. Avatar Aang had taught him how to use his own technique, a traveling technique called the wind air ball, and that's what he calls it. Basically, you take wind energy and you form it beneath you into a rotating ball. After using this, you can sit on it and use it to travel anywhere. Naruto found this extremely cool and practiced it most of the day. Then Avatar Aang explained to Naruto how, as the Avatar, you should be able to command wind if you practice it enough. Even though wind is the opposite of your natural affinity for Earth style, with him there, it shouldn't be too hard. He tells Naruto exactly how to do it, what he needs to do, and Naruto learns how to bend wind so he can make wind breezes, weapons, and push people back with it. He's basically gained a basic understanding of the wind element now, and thanks Avatar Aang before he returns to his normal realm. He shows his new skills to Jiraiya, and Jiraiya is impressed with his meditation practice. The next day, Naruto heads to the Chunin exams, where he faces off with Gaara. But in fact, he does not face off with Gaara in the first round. Instead, Sasuke shows up, early and not late this time, and his fight with Neji begins. Sasuke activates his Sharingan and begins falling down the side of the wall and looks towards Neji. Neji has his Byakugan activated and they look into each other's eyes. Sasuke walks towards the Hyuga clan member, and then Neji walks towards the last of the Uchiha. They look each other into the eyes, and then Neji says, "I guess it's time to finish out the rest of your clan." This pisses Sasuke off as he grits his teeth and then tells Neji, "Well, I guess I'll just have to do it the same so you understand my pain." They then rush towards each other after saying such banter and begin their fight. Sasuke, using his Sharingan to dodge the gentle fist blows, is combating Neji with supreme skill. Then, he surprises Neji. He then falls back and then uses a Shadow Clone. Naruto's actually surprised by this as he's never used this before. He's actually never seen Sasuke use this technique. Kakashi had taught it to him as he thought that it might be useful for Sasuke's development, as well as that it would probably be beneficial for him to learn a few more jutsu than just one for fighting someone so versatile like Neji. He then activates his Chidori in both his Shadow Clone and him, taking both of his 2 attacks he can use that day. He then has his Shadow Clone rush towards Neji. Neji says this is child's play and begins using his 360-degree palm rotation. Then Sasuke rushes forward and then pierces right between, grabbing Neji's hand out of midair and then shoving at him his Chidori. The Chidori is about to pierce Neji's shoulder, and when it bursts through, Neji's eyes open wide as the Byakugan deactivates and he coughs up blood. He then falls to one knee and then looks up towards Sasuke. Sasuke then tells him, does he understand his power yet? And he kicks Neji back. Neji reactivates his Byakugan and then rushes forward, then activating the 64 trigrams, 8 trigrams, 64 palms. He rushes towards Sasuke and then begins hitting some of Sasuke's chakra points. Sasuke, in Sasuke's head, shit, my shoulder, left leg, bottom right shoulder. He can't use jutsu anymore. Sasuke falls back and his Sharingan deactivates. They then begin into a fight as both their chakra levels are supremely drained. Naruto, watching this battle, is quite impressed with Sasuke's skill. As Kakashi watches, he's proud of his student. Sasuke throws a kunai towards Neji. Neji bows his head downwards and blocks it. After he then heads upward and tries to get an uppercut on Sasuke. Sasuke sidekicks this out of the way and then punches Neji into the face, kicking him back and tells Neji, "Destiny won't determine who I'll be able to kill. And once I get you, Itachi, that's gonna be it." He then punches Neji back, and Neji falls to the ground, thinking that Sasuke, who was destined to be a fate of murder and suffering, actually defeated him. Then, later on, it's Naruto versus Gaara. Naruto walks into the ring, and Gaara does the same. As Gaara prepares his sand shield, Naruto then activates his elements. He begins to bend. He forces his hand towards Gaara's sand shield, and then in a loud screaming voice, he says, I command you, as the Avatar and Lord of this world's elements, I command you, sand, bow before me. Bend away from your so-called master and towards the true leader of the elements. As Naruto pushes his hand forward and says this, his eyes glow a faint blue, and the sand begins to shake. Gaara's eyes open wide as he screams, "What are you doing?" And all of his sand rips off of him and then shoots towards Naruto. Naruto now has all the sand floating above his hand and says, "Well, Gaara, since you so much depend on your weapons of your elements, I suppose I'll take them away from you. Let's have a clean match." Naruto then takes all the sand in the arena and then pushes it upwards and shoots it out of the arena, far from Gaara's reach. Gaara screams and says that he'll kill him. He then runs towards Naruto. Naruto sidesteps this and then uses a wind cut. He slashes his right hand across the air behind next to Gaara, and a slash of wind pierces through through Gaara's shoulder. Blood spurts out of his arm, and everyone in the crowd cheers for Naruto's immense victory. Gaara falls to the ground as almost unconscious, when suddenly he goes into his Shukaku form. Naruto's eyes open wide as he realizes what's going on. Then Gaara runs out of the arena and begins heading to the forest. Naruto and Sasuke look each other across the arena and they nod their heads. Then Naruto rushes out of the arena. He quickly creates an air ball, just as Aang had showed him, and he jumps on top of it. He then, sitting in his pose and his hands clasped together, rushes forward. His speed is crazy fast with using this, by the way. He rushes forward to the point where he actually intercepts Gaara way earlier, so they're much closer to the village now. Naruto then uses an earth drill and shoots a spike of earth out of the ground towards where Gaara is. Gaara drops down to the ground and then roars at Naruto. He then begins using his sand arm, which Naruto tries to deactivate. He realizes that this isn't normal sand and that it's not following him. The sand actually punches Naruto and shoots him back. He hits the back of a tree and coughs up blood. Naruto then, getting up, pulls out 3 shuriken and throws them towards Gaara's arm. Once Gaara gets this attack on his arm, he then is blocked from view. Naruto then goes behind him and uses a burst of air. He pushes his palm forward up from under Gaara and says, "Up!" Then the air rushes down from the sky and pulls Gaara upwards. Once Gaara's in the air, then Naruto clasps his hands together. He clasps his hands and says, "Alright, ground, I need you to do some work." He bends his arms and then shoots it upwards. Once he shoots it upwards, the ground beneath them and the trees all shoot upwards into spikes, creating a tall tower that Gaara is then stuck on. Naruto begins running up the side of this tower, creating footholds with bending as he rushes. As he gets up there, Gaara is in his full form and is beginning to transform into Shukaku. Sasuke arrives with Sakura and the rest of everyone who came to help back up Naruto. Naruto, using both wind and earth, is battling Gaara. And suddenly Naruto is knocked to the ground. As he begins falling and is about to hit contact with the ground, he suddenly falls into his seal. He sees the Nine Tails, as well as the Avatar Spirit near it. The Nine Tails tells him that he'll lend him his strength this time, and then the Avatar Spirit tells Naruto that it's sorry, but he's used a lot of the Avatar state recently, so he has to let the Nine Tails have this one. Then Naruto nods and says that he needs his help. The Nine Tails chakra goes into Naruto's body as his strength increases and his eyes become slit-like. He opens his eyes, and an aura of red envelops him. Sasuke seizes with his Sharingan as Naruto's muscles begin to bulge. He then grabs his hand into the earth, and then pulls himself up, lunging up the tower towards the Shukaku. He then jumps with all of his strength towards Shukaku, and punches Gaara in the face. As he does this, he then forms his hands together, and begins forming hand seals, as he watched Sasuke do exactly in the arena. He forms the Shadow Clone Jutsu, and says, "It's time for my ultimate technique. 10,000 shadow clones, Earth style, bend of the rock god." 10,000 shadow clones erupt out of the sky, and they each put their right hand out and begin to grab the tower. The tower begins to fold towards them as they pull it out of the ground and into the air. As they form it into a spear, they jab it downward at all of their strength, as all the shadow clones explode on contact as soon as they do this. Naruto is beginning to run out of all the chakra. He gasps as he's running out. He uses the last of his strength to thrust the spear towards the Shukaku. As the giant Shukaku is impaled by the spear, Naruto falls to the ground, and Sasuke rushes out and catches him. As Naruto sees Gaara falling to the ground, he tells Sasuke to save him. Sasuke leaps out into the air and barely grabs Gaara in time. When Gaara is pulled down to the ground near Naruto, Naruto looks at him and tells him that he knows how he feels to be different, and he understands the burden of carrying others around you, and he understands the need to live. He tells Gaara that this is not the right way, and uses his Talk no Jutsu to bring Gaara to the light. If you guys want to see another part for part 7 of What If Naruto Was the Avatar, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and comment any suggestions. I hope you guys like this video.
Black and white.
Bye.